All right, so what we're going to talk about today is just kind of how the program works. I know that there was some mention of it earlier in previous conversations, but we'll go through how it works, what the different academies are, what the different trainings are, and then we'll get perspectives from Deja on her experience and how it's helped her in her career. So the purpose of this program is to give folks new skills and a new start. The VA Cyber Skills Academies provide world-class hands-on training to candidates who want to expand their careers into cybersecurity. This is sponsored by the state of Virginia and administered by the Women's Society of Cyber Jitsu. If you are a resident or know residents of Northern Virginia, specifically Region 7 that were impacted negatively by COVID-19, this might be a program for them. So what you get free training because it's sponsored by the state of Virginia. You can work while you learn, so it's flexible learning. You're not required to be in a classroom for 35 days or however many days you have to be in a classroom, so it's really flexible. And you get access to seasoned veterans that can mentor you and help guide you through your career in cybersecurity and even getting into cybersecurity. So there's two different applicant tracks. One's the Upskilling Academy and one is the Reskilling Academy. So the Upskilling Academy provides professionals that are already in cyber or IT or have some experience in those fields to gain some additional knowledge beyond just the basic cybersecurity levels. The Reskilling program is for those that have absolutely no cybersecurity experience, okay? And it's going to prepare you to take some certifications, get that security knowledge, and then go into an employer and be able to get a job and work in that job, and then move beyond this program and get additional training and opportunities. We have a number of different partners within this program that are hiring. So make sure you check out their booths under the partners tab on the left side of the Umbrella platform, and schedule some time to talk to them, see what it's like to work in their organization at their their offices in the Northern Virginia area. We are virtual right now, so it's a little bit easier, but you still talk to them, see what it's about, and see if it's something you like. So the upskilling program is about 4 months. You get to select one course and one certificate from the hundreds of trainings that SANS offers. So if you're interested in cloud security, if you're interested in offensive security, being red teaming, vulnerability management, penetration testing. If you're interested in cyber defense, that's going to be the blue side of things. Think incident handler, forensics, if you want to do forensic stuff, you want to investigate and, all that good jazz. Auditing, industrial control systems, that's a newer area that's got a really heavy cyber and tech focus because it's not very secure in general. And then management. You've been working in tech for a little bit, you want to go into the management track. There's a lot of different options for you inside of the Upskilling Academy. The Reskilling Academy is about 6 months, and so you'll get 3 trainings and 2 certifications. The foundations course, it's basic introduction to computers, technology, and security. So it'll help you get set up to take the SANS 401, which is Security Essentials Bootcamp, which goes deeper into security. It talks about Windows security and Linux security, and it brings it all together to give you that holistic view of what security looks like. And then you move into hacker techniques, exploits, and incident handling. So this gives you a little bit of some offensive side of security, so the red teaming, penetration testing, and then understanding how to handle incidents on the other side after they've happened. And you'll get the GSEC and the GCIH, 2 very well-known certifications, 2 that I have. Very good information, very good knowledge, and you'll be on your way to getting that role in cybersecurity. So top 5 reasons to apply. 1, you get access to technical subject matter experts during the training through SANS, through Cyber Jitsu, through partnerships with Cat's Eye as well. While you're in your cohort, you'll get weekly check-ins with Slack and other channels of communications just to make sure you're progressing, you're doing okay. If you need any assistance or help with it, you have that support system in place. There's going to be monthly webinars from our employee partners and workforce and economic development partners, just discussing, different cyber roles, different ways to approach different topics in cybersecurity and technology. So it's just another piece of the puzzle to help you build out your toolkit. You'll get access to the job boards between both SANS and Cyberjitsu, and any of our other partners' job boards that are out there. And then you'll get career services help with your resume, with other resources as you transition to the InfoSec field, or as you transition from your current role in cyber and tech to a new role. You'll have those resources available to you for assistance. So for the employer side of things, if you know any employers that are wanting to participate, they can definitely participate at no cost for them. They'll get to post jobs, they'll get to have webinars, and they'll get to interact with all of the participants in the actual academies. So some of the roles, and if you think back to Davina's presentation about CyberSeek and the NIST cybersecurity, the NICE cybersecurity workforce framework, you'll see that some of these roles are listed there as well. So reskilling, you can do SOC analyst, working in high-paced environments, looking at alerts coming in about different types of things happening, phishing, malware, intrusions, all of that. Service desk, help desk, helping your customers in that space, InfoSec analyst, security engineers, consulting, network engineering, and for the upskilling graduates, cloud security engineer. We're all going to the cloud, so that's the big thing right now. Penetration tester, incident responder, cyber risk analyst. It's a really important role, and it's really cool that Deja does something like this now in her current job. Digital forensics analyst, and if you're prone to go to the government, ISO, which is an information security officer. You manage systems and make sure that they meet the requirements they're supposed to meet for testing and accreditation. And that's the end of my presentation. So let's talk to Deja. Hey, Deja, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us about your experience going through the SANS Cyber Academy.
Okay, well, I started off in customer service roles. I know a lot of the people joining the academy or who are interested in the academy may not come from cybersecurity backgrounds, and I am one of those people. I worked at a bunch of different coffee shops and things like that through school. I self-taught video editing, and from there, I worked as a freelance editor and then secured roles in production. So that was fun. And that also introduced me to the non-traditional way of using your education. I know a lot of people go through school and they go through the 4-year program, and that's wonderful, but it's also nice that there are programs for people who may not have access to that. And there are a lot of parallels between working in production and software development and cybersecurity. And I'll kind of get into how I transitioned into cyber. So from editing, I realized that I could self-teach software. YouTube University is a real thing. And so I realized that, okay, well, I might have a thing for tech. And so I joined a software development bootcamp called Flatiron School in Washington, DC. And I fell in love with computers, but I didn't know as much as I thought I knew getting into cybersecurity. My last module at Flatiron School, I had to decide what app I wanted to create by myself. And so I developed a concept application that would help, called Waldo, that would help people get together and sort of use open source and contribute to open source intelligence to help find missing people and potentially traffic individuals. I didn't know that that was open source intelligence at the time. I just thought I was grabbing from an API and gathering information because I knew that I wanted to use tech for good. And so naturally, it was an easy transition into realizing, okay, the place for me is actually in cybersecurity. This is fun, but this is where I can make the most impact. And I saw on LinkedIn that they were doing a SANS Cyber Workforce Academy. similar to probably a lot of people on this call. And I applied, went through the foundations course, and it has been wonderful ever since.
Wow, customer service.
Yeah.
Customer service to freaking awesome, right? Okay, so which academy did you attend?
I attended the Cyber Workforce Academy of Maryland.
Maryland, okay. So we also partnered with them on that one as well. So, okay, that's cool. So how was your experience when you were going through the training? Because you guys were you part of the virtual one or were you on site? Uh-oh, did we lose her? Deja, you froze. Okay, so we'll wait for her to come back. The program, this particular program is virtual, so you do have to live in Region 7 of Northern Virginia, but you don't have to physically go into a classroom. You'll do it all virtually, so that you don't have to worry about, if you're fearful of COVID or anything like that. Perfectly safe, perfectly fine in the comfort of your own home. Hopefully she can jump back in soon. So do we have any questions about the program while we wait? So I did see there was a question. You do have to live in Northern Virginia for this specific program to be considered for acceptance into it. There are other programs in Maryland and other SANS Academy programs that you can participate in. Yes, if you are a permanent resident, you can apply as long as you have a green card. Yep. There was one more question. So if you've already applied for the program, we are in the process of going through approvals and looking at applications and all that. So you will get an email or some sort of notification if you've been accepted to move on to the next phase, which is going to be an interview. If you are not accepted to go on to the interview, you will receive notification that has a few different off-ramps to improve your skills. And because SANS has a number of different academies, you can come back and apply for a different one once you've improved some of those skills. So some of those things are like cyber competitions and things like that. So I think Deja's back. Deja, are you back?
I am so sorry. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
So cybersecurity 101, trusted certificates.
There you go.
My computer kicked me off because it did not trust Zoom certificates. So here you go, first introduction.
There you go. Troubleshooting at its finest. Don't apologize. We'll work that out. So when you went through the Maryland program, were you on site or virtual?
I was virtual.
Okay, so how was that experience?
That was awesome. I can definitely say that was awesome. I was nervous about being virtual, but to be honest, I think coming from the year that we had, my whole cohort was just excited to be in the program. You can tell a lot of us were career changers, and we really built a community, and it's been a great experience. Even the mentoring process has been really awesome. You're not missing anything with
okay.
with
it sounds like it's better to do it virtual. Going to an all-day class for like 6 days, it can be very tiring.
Yeah.
Okay. So besides the virtual part, what if somebody's applying, what do you recommend they do to make their application stand out?
The first thing I would say is know your why. And I'll probably bring this up again, but know your why. When you understand why you want to be in cybersecurity, I'm pretty sure that will come off to the person reviewing your application. For me, I had a pretty solid understanding of what I wanted to do, even if that doesn't actualize until later on in your career. Knowing where you want to be in cybersecurity is super important. I would also say, don't fluff any information. And that's something my mentor told me later on, but it also helped during the application process, because I didn't try to make myself out to be someone who knew a lot about cybersecurity. I understood what the program was for, and I just expressed enthusiasm and wanted to get into the field.
Okay, good. Knowing your why is important. Otherwise, you'll be bored. You won't be
Yes,
successful in the industry, and it just won't be fun for you and everybody around you.
yes.
Um, okay, cool. So tell us about your current job and how being a part of the academy helped you get to that position.
So I currently work in cyber risk and compliance. And what I do is I basically help clients remain compliant with, I know that rhymed, with the various security regulations and standards necessary for organizations that usually do business with the federal government. My team creates the compliance binder for an organization from start to finish. That way, when an audit happens, the client is prepared and the process goes smoothly. I also help with any application development projects my organization needs, which is really, really cool. But SANS was integral in getting me that position, and I will tell you why first. The obvious thing is the certifications. My boss, it's a very tight knit company. So the CEO of the company, when he brought me on, he basically let me know the certification that I would need for my position, but they use SANS certifications. Like SANS is top, SANS is top notch. So I was an easy hire, I guess, because they didn't really have to pay for 2 certifications for me. I came out the gate with certifications from SANS, and it showed that I at least have the practical knowledge for the position that I was applying for, even though I didn't have the background. And my boss even said it. He said, you know, we know that you don't have years of experience, but we see what you do have. And I think that's really important because I was really worried about that, but SANS knows what they're doing and they know what they're talking about. So,
Yeah. So for those watching, SANS has some really top-notch instructors that actually work in the field and do the activities and the things that they teach. So you're not just going to get a bunch of fluff. You're going to get the hands-on. You're going to get the labs and the training to reinforce those skills that are actively being used, right? You see active like exploits and malware that has been used in the real world. So it's a really cool program. Okay, awesome. I love your story. I'm so
oh,
glad you
yay.
came on.
Thank you.
And everybody else loves your story too, apparently.
Hey.
So outside of the why, what else can you share with folks that are considering but not sure about applying or joining, or they're a little bit nervous or a little bit scared about putting their application in, or they're afraid of the assessment? What would you recommend for them to get past that?
I would recommend giving it a shot, because if you're considering it, it might be for a reason. And when I saw the advertisement for the SANS Cyber Workforce Academy, I was scared too, because I knew I didn't know anything about cybersecurity. Software development is a lot different than cybersecurity. They should be working together, but they don't often. And I remember I had to test into the program. I went through a foundations course and I didn't know what in the world I was looking at. You think you know about computers, but I was wrong. So, but somehow I ended up in the program, which is wonderful. But go for it, because for obvious reasons, cybersecurity is booming right now. People are getting hit left and right with breaches and cyber attacks, and we are sort of the enforcers of the internet. Nobody thinks about the people protecting your information online. And I kind of like that. Like, I kind of like the underdog situation. And I feel like cybersecurity is a tribe of people that not only want to do their job and do it well, but they also lift other people up. So if you're looking for an industry that also is fulfilling, I would suggest at least giving it a shot. because it's not like what you think. There's people in every industry, but for the most part, everyone that I've come in contact with has tried to lift me up. And it's been a ripple effect. Someone lifts you up and you lift someone else up. And cybersecurity is full of people who are just honestly passionate about what they do. So you're always going to be learning and soaking up information. So if that's for you, I would just try it.
Awesome. So know your why, have passion,
Mhm.
soak up all the information you can. There's a,
Yes.
a lot of
Ask
information out there.
Yes.
All right, cool. So you're here now. What does your future roadmap look like?
My future roadmap. Wow. I just put this down on paper the other day. I should.
Yes.
So I really want to help other people in cybersecurity that may not see themselves in the space, which is ironic because this is full circle. Because whether you know it or not, you inspired me, because when I joined Cyberjitsu, I said, wow, there's people who look like me in cybersecurity. So that was wonderful. But for the most part, I want to help people that may not see themselves in cybersecurity. And I want to teach them how to hack. I'm really interested in ethical hacking. And so my future roadmap looks like Deja getting paid to break things. So that's my future roadmap. And on the way there, I hope to obtain at least 3 more certifications, because this industry is kind of based around certifications and it'll propel you into different spaces. So hopefully.
Awesome. Yes, ethical hacking. That's a great, we have a study group going on right now for it, for
Really?
CEH. Yes. So that's one of the other things about, the tribe is there's a lot of different resources, not just the SANS training, but we have study groups and professional development and small mastermind tribes of mentoring and networking. And, this is just one of those pieces of that bigger puzzle to help people like you, Deja, or others that are trying to get into the industry, get in and be successful.
Thank you.
So are there any questions for Deja? Okay. Everybody says you have an absolutely great story. Love that you want to get paid to break things. You're really inspiring and encouraging. And this field is genuinely for anybody, right?
Yes.
As long as you come in and just take the initiative to learn and to grow and to do, you can do this no matter what industry you come from. We have a lot of career changers that come in, accounting, business, liberal arts, librarians that come into cyber, and those skills that they had from before work here. So your experience with customer service is actually really important, because cybersecurity is like customer service.
Yes, it is.
So, okay, one last question.
Yes.
What challenges have you faced since you've been in the industry?
Oh my goodness. The number one is what you would expect, but it's not an actual challenge. It's more so an internal thing. And that is feeling like you know what you're talking about and understanding that it's okay to not know what you're talking about. So that's like a huge lesson, because there's certain things that you might come down to yourself and say, wow, like I really felt like I should have known that. Well, number one, unless you're a savant, you're really not going to know every single thing, and you're not going to know it starting out. So be confident in what you do know, be confident in your strong areas, and then also ask a bunch of questions. Like I said, in cybersecurity, people seem to love answering questions, and they will answer it thoroughly. So just ask questions and be confident enough to be okay with not knowing the answer. I think that's a big challenge. And if you can jump over that, you'll be fine.
Awesome. Yes. So we do have 2 questions.
Okay.
The first, how long was your application process? Do you remember?
In order to get a job?
Well, to get into the program, yeah.
It was about 2 months, I would say. And the
Okay.
only reason I would say that is because I kind of got in towards almost the end of things, because when I applied, I went through the interview process and then I jumped right into foundations. And foundations, I had a short amount of time to complete foundations. So it's a quick process.
And for the question asker, it's going to vary. It's just going to depend on when you put your application in, at what point in the process that you did that. So if you haven't applied, please apply. There are multiple cohorts for the program. So if you don't get in this first one, you may be able to get in the second or third one. So last question. The compliance role that you're in now, did SANS help you prepare adequately, or did you have to learn some things when you got on the job?
So that's a two-part thing, because SANS prepared me, I honestly feel like, the best that I could have been prepared for an entry-level role in cyber. But for my specific job description, I didn't know much about compliance before getting into my role. I knew about the regulations and the standards, but I didn't really understand how important that was for cybersecurity. It's like one of the things that people don't necessarily think about, and it's writing and reading intensive, but it's very important. So I did have to learn a lot. I'm learning a lot, and I will be learning a lot for a while, and that's okay. But SANS prepared me to know what questions to ask and to know what I'm hearing, because I can hear about a network all day, but if I didn't go through the program, I would be very confused at my job. So it's been really, really good.
Okay, cool. SANS does have an auditing certification, a couple, I believe. So if compliance and auditing are something you're interested in doing, once you get through this program, you can take a look at some of those other trainings that are of interest. All right. So do you have any parting words? We've got a few minutes left before we have to jump to the next session. Anything you want to say? Final words. Uh-oh. This is what happens with technology. There she is.
This is IT at its finest. I am so sorry.
Don't apologize. We understand. Zoom is tired.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, any parting words for those that are listening?
I would, my number one suggestion is getting into the program. Again, back to know your why. Don't just know your why. What I did to get me through the program was write it down. Write down your why, and not just make your why about you, but every why has to be connected to someone outside of you. So how is this going to impact the people around me, or how am I going to better the world with what I can do, my little sphere of influence? And it'll be easier to make it through something that's hard when you're understanding that it doesn't just affect you. So I think that's really important. That's the best piece of advice that I could give you. Sorry.
No, that's great. That's really great.